So, my friends, it is hot outside. 96 degrees in the shade, John. So, I will say this. It's not only hot outside, but when it comes to sports, sports is hot right now. So, again, let me say welcome, my friends, to John's Sports Corner. And at this moment, I'm gonna let you, our listeners, know that in our 9 months, we are now up to over 36,000 subscribers, and we just topped the 11 million mark in our views. And I'm saying this because we thank you and we owe it all to you, our viewers and our supporters. And we're going to ask you one thing to do for us: share our link to at least one of your contacts, at least one of your friends, at least one of your family members. Help us to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Please, we are depending on you. This is your platform, open platform, no charge platform, no app platform. Please let them know that you have a network and you like it to introduce it to them. Thank you so much, and over to John Sports Corner.
And again, thank you, Trevor, and a very good afternoon to our friends and family. Thank you for visiting and staying with John Sports Corner on the SosoBone Media Network, the global Caribbean media capital. Let me remind you to go to the Winner's Circle radio store in the SosoBone shop and shop till you drop. Among the items are t-shirts, mugs, backpacks, sorrel, and of course, the great Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee. So let's talk sports as usual, with birthdays coming up first. As yesterday, Clyde Butts, former Guyana and West Indies cricketer, celebrated a birthday. And today, Ian Bradshaw, another former Barbados and West Indies cricketer, he celebrates today. Tomorrow, the great Herb McKinley celebrates a birthday. Former Olympic gold medalist and super athlete. Maybe I can't say Usain Bolt is probably a clone of Herb McKinley.
Okay. Okay.
On Saturday, Neil McGarrell, former Guyana and West Indies cricketer, celebrates a birthday. On Saturday, Lamine Yamal, that young soccer player, football player now that is dazzling the world with his skill, celebrates a birthday on Sunday. Former Jamaica reggae boy, now coach, Paul Teagat Davis, celebrates a birthday. Heinz Johnson, former Jamaica and West Indies cricketer, deceased now, but he would have celebrated a birthday also on Sunday. Two, Ivor Mendonca, also deceased now, but a former Guyana and West Indies cricketer. On Monday, Kenya Sinclair, World Indoor 800 silver medalist, she celebrates a birthday. And let's talk, of course, move on to some track and field news, since we just mentioned Kenya Sinclair. Fresh off her national 200 championship, Asanté Moore has turned her attention to cool runnings. Jamaica Bobsled Federation President Dr. Chris Stokes has welcomed her into the federation. There's a belief that Ashanti can move seamlessly into the world of bobsleigh, and they believe she will be successful at the bobsleigh. Moore says she thinks she can manage both disciplines, both track and field and bobsleigh, as the seasons don't clash. Cory Bennett, taking his coaching skills to Jamaica College, where he will lead the school's sprints program. Bennett, who coached Hydel High to the 2025 Girls Championship title, and Calabar to second place in the boys' championships joins head coach Dwayne Johnson at Jamaica College. Richard Smith has replaced Leaford Grant as Kingston College head coach. Of course, you know, Leaford stepped down after winning the champs just earlier this year.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Smith will certainly have his some big shoes to fill, as
Mm.
Coach Grant won 5 of the last 6 championships for Kingston College.
Uh-huh.
Up at Red Hills Road, also, they have a new coach with Julian Robinson, replacing Cory Bennett at Halabar.
Mm.
Diamond League Prefontaine Classic on the weekend. Jamaica's Kishane Thompson winning the men's 100 meters in 9.85 seconds, with Great Britain's Darnell Hughes second in 9.91 seconds. Melissa Jefferson Wooden, 10.75, winner of the women's 100 meters, ahead of St. Lucia's Olympic gold medalist Julian Alfred, who ran 10.77 seconds. Jamaica's Tina Clayton was fourth in 11.02 seconds.
Mm.
Jamaica's Akérá Nënt, winner of the women's 100 hurdles in 12.32 seconds. Akérá says she's going to take a break from racing until August.
Okay.
She has run 24 races so far this year. That included 2 Grand Slam titles, a bronze medal in the World Athletics Indoor Championships, second place in the Jamaica National Championships now a couple of weeks ago, and of course the Prefontaine Classic win on Saturday. I suppose the break is for Akérá to freshen up for the upcoming World Championships in Tokyo, Japan.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, Ralford Mullins, second in the men's discus with a toss of 68.98 meters. A few other noteworthy performances. Kenya's Beatrice Chebet made history, becoming the first woman to break 14 minutes in the 5,000 meter when she stopped the clock in 13 minutes, 58.06 seconds.
Okay.
Faith Kiprugan, also of Kenya, smashed her own 1,500 meter world record, stopping the clock in 3 minutes, 48.68 seconds.
Wow.
No world record for Olympic gold medalist Letsile Tebogo of Botswana, but his 19.76 seconds over the 200 meters was certainly an eye-opener. Coming up this Friday, the 10th staging or 10th stage in the series of the Diamond League, the Hercules Monaco Diamond League meet. And of course, Jamaicans lead the Caribbean contingent. Romaine Beckford and Raymond Richards in the men's high jump, Jordan Scott in the men's triple jump, Antoinette Knight in the women's 400 hurdles, Nikisha Price in the women's 400 meters, Megan Tapper just recently winning the Jamaica National 100 Hurdles Championship. She'll be going over 100 hurdles. Tina Clayton in the 100 meters. Trinidad and Tobago's Jareem Richards going in the men's 200 meters. Divine Charlton of the Bahamas in the women's 100 hurdles, while St. Lucia's Sprint Queen Julian Alfred in the 100 meters. I tell you what, let's go to a break, our first break. But when we come back, we have lots more to cover. We'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. Welcome back to John Sports Corner on the SosoBone Media Network, the global Caribbean media capital. Let's start with cricket, lovely cricket. Australia tricked West Indies by 133 runs in the Grenada second test to take an unbeatable 2-game-to-zip lead in the 3-game series, and they also have retained the Frank Worrell Trophy.
Mm.
Australia 286 and 243, West Indies 253, and asked to get 277 in the second innings, were dismissed for 543.
John, they folded like a stack of pancakes, John.
Well, West Indies made one change for the second test. Anderson Phillip replacing spinner Jomel Warrican,
Mm.
while Steve Smith was back in the Australia lineup.
Uh-huh.
Now, Craig Brathwaite was allowed to play his 99th and 100 test matches. However, I believe when Craig Brathwaite stepped down as West Indies red ball captain,
Mm-hmm.
West Indies selectors had a chance to also sit him down as a
Mm-hmm.
player. He has not done anything at the top of the order the last several test innings.
Mm-hmm.
Will he open in the third test at Sabina Park on
No, John.
Saturday? We
No.
shall see.
I think, John, that it was just a for nostalgia for him to have to participate in 100 test matches. You won't see him again, John.
Yeah, but why waste a young talent then? Or why accommodate him to be in 100 test matches when there might have been another player? I don't know if it would be a better player, but maybe there could have been a younger player or another player who they selected for the match to open the innings with John Campbell.
Well, this is where we have to hold the selectors for the team accountable, John. Because even though we say he was on the team, he did not force himself on the team, even if he asked to be on the team, John.
Well,
Because,
you don't
because what
ask, but Trevor, it seems as if our management people in West Indies cricket, they talk a lot of good talk, but they're not walking the walk.
Well, John, we talk about the changes that should be made on the team. Granted that they have just lost two straight. I think we need to have some changes on the governing body, John, because they
Mhm.
themselves are not making good decisions, and it is reflected in how the team makes their own selections, John. Because if they were holding the team accountable, John, there would have been some real changes after the first game, John.
Well, I tell you, Trevor, I remember the days when you had some real good cricketers knocking on the door for a West Indies team and couldn't get in the team.
Couldn't get in. Okay.
you know,
Okay.
Another issue I have, with the selectors, Shea Hope giving the gloves and coming in at number 6 in the batting order. Shea Hope, probably our best batsman in
Yes.
the Caribbean. I would give the gloves to Tevin Imlach
Yes,
and
yes,
have
yes.
Shea Hope coming in at, say, number 4
As a pure batsman.
as a pure batsman. No
Yes.
gloves.
Because the fact is that staying behind the wicket, John, is a very tedious and tiring.
It
Um,
is.
so for you to be coming in and looking at, it,
And maybe that's why they dropped him down to 6 in the batting order. But
yes,
I would not do that. I would take away the gloves from him, give it to Tevin Imlach, who did so well in the Pakistan series.
that's right.
And Tevin Imlach is a young cricketer. We
Mhm.
need to start blooding the young cricketers.
All right, all right. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yes.
So for the Sabina test, Trevor, I'll have maybe Brandon King opening with John Campbell,
Uh huh.
Hishikati, Shea Hope, Rastan Chase, Justin Greaves, Tevin Imlach, Alzari Joseph, of course the bowling, Shamar Joseph, Anderson Phillip, and Jaden Seals. My only problem, now is with Kevlin Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
If I include Kevlin for Justin Greaves, let's say, would I have enough bowling?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, based on what I've seen in the two test matches so far, when West Indies batting catches up to the bowling,
Oh, yes.
West Indies could have a pretty good team or a pretty competitive team with the big boys.
But you know, John, one of my disappointments in the first two games has been Carty, John. You know, from he made that century, John. You know, it seems to have gotten to his head. And when I say gotten to his head, it means that it got into his concentration or his mental belief, because he has been making some careless. He has been getting some careless outs, John. That is my point. You know.
But well, I guess he just has to adjust to the test match cricket. And
Yes.
sometimes I do wonder, Trevor, if when our batsmen in particular are not playing international cricket, when they go in the nets, do they bat in the nets for hours and just have anybody maybe coming off the street bowling to them, just being in the nets with people bowling to them?
But both the bowlers and the batters, John, they need work. They need consistent work, okay, so that they can refine their spin, refine their breaking ball, refine their their yorkers or their bouncers. They cannot only be looking at getting this thing done at game time, okay, or for the short period when they might be practicing, and at which point you're gonna have six different bowlers getting a chance to practice. They have to go out there for 3 4 hours, John, consistently
Well,
putting the
and
ball.
particularly, I think particularly the batting, Trevor, that the batsmen, they have to be in the nets, as you said, just batting 2 3 hours, getting used to being out there batting.
Okay,
And I don't know if they're doing that,
and
because the last West Indian batsman I hear who did that was Shivnarayan Chandapal.
uh-huh. And also, John, you have to ask yourself if they're also trying to keep the fielders sharp, John. The guys who are in slip, because a lot of balls are passing through them, John. They're not responding fast enough. Okay, I mean, they're diving when the ball is about a yard beyond them. Okay, I come to the conclusion that maybe one or two of the guys in slip, they should be in the outfield, because I have seen guys in the outfield who they're not even responding to the ball in the outfield fast enough, much less having them in slip.
But of course, my focus actually is on the batting, Trevor. And I believe that, first of all, why do I need a batting coach in a test team? When you get to test level, you should be the finished product.
Yes, but
And you probably just have to get acclimatized to different pitches and different circumstances now. But you're a finished product. How is a batting coach, eh, especially I guess the batting coach at West Indies having the team right now, is not like a Shivnarayan Chandapal
uh-huh.
uh, or a Desmond Haynes, who we know were good batsmen and can maybe teach a youngster how to bat.
Well, we also ask ourselves this question, John, whether or not the boulders that the batter is gonna face on the various teams, if they are studying films, watching how these guys approach righties and lefties, you know, with the type of pattern, John, that they use to set a batter up. When they go wide and they start working in, and they're adjusting the field based on the fact that the fielders know that the first ball is going to be wide, the second one is going to be 12 inches closer, and the next one is going to be on the toe of the batter.
Yeah,
And
but
whether or not,
Trevor, to be fair, Right now, this West Indies bowling attack has bowled out Australia, has
Yes.
taken 40 wickets, and Australia has passed 300 only once.
Only once. And that is good.
And if they had held on to if our fielders had held on to some of those catches,
All right.
they probably would not pass 300.
That
So
is right.
I really don't have a problem with my bowling. It's the batting. The batting, we're not making proper cricket shots. And I think, but I think the problem too is not. I don't even blame the players as such, Trevor. I think what is happening with West Indies cricket right now, we don't have good coaches teaching batting to our
That's good.
youngsters.
I agree
So
with that
you can have
because
1 million youngsters playing cricket. Now, if they're not being coached properly how to make proper cricket shots, and that can, it will manifest itself when they
yeah,
get to the senior level.
and another thing I asked the question, John. Are these players doing any classroom work, John, or they're only doing field work? And I say this because while all the games are recorded, do they come back into a session where, as they prepare for a game, they're watching each of the batters now and watching how they attack the ball as they bowl to them and the balls that gets them out,
Yeah.
and analyzing what they should have done, John, because
The film room.
the film room, because we know that in other sports like NFL football and basketball, you you rehearse and you rehearse and you rehearse a play so that after a while it becomes second nature when they're on the court, John. You don't have to look where the receiver
Trevor,
is. He's
Trevor,
supposed to be there.
Trevor,
Uh-huh.
you know, I was not no big time footballer.
Uh-huh.
When I played with my club, every now and then the coach would take us to a film session.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking about, John. Whether or not they are too much of a professional for the coach to be able to say, listen, it's film room, okay? We can do a one-on-one and say, listen, said and show them, John, not only their last out that they made, but their last 6 outs, John. And look on whether or not they're repeating the same mistake. Okay?
Well, I guess that's why they have the batting coach there, Trevor.
Well, I think the
To
coach
drill them with what is a proper shot. Why did you make that shot?
and again, we look at, for example, Chase going up as an opening batter and having a duck, John. Okay? And suddenly this batting third coming in, John, is now an opening batter. Is he mentally prepared, John, to be an opening batter when he was relaxing, figure that he will not be going on the field for the next 2 hours because Chase is gonna take the shine off the ball, and he's coming to face a new ball.
When you're bat number 3, Trevor, you don't have time to relax. Now, you might have to be out there soon. And so our number 3 batsmen, number 3 and 4 right now, they're not expecting our openers to go out there and put on 100 runs.
But they're supposed to take the shine off the ball.
Supposed to.
That is why I said I was disappointed with Carty. Because
you know something, my mother used to tell me, supposition bears no argument.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. Okay.
God bless her. Moving along, Trevor, the Pakistan Cricket Board have written to Cricket West Indies requesting a match schedule change to their upcoming white ball tour of the Caribbean. Pakistan are scheduled to play 3 2020s at the Central Broward Stadium in Lauderdale, Florida, and 3 one-day internationals in Trinidad and Tobago. The Pakistan Cricket Board is asking to change the 3 one-days to 3 2020s as they would like to concentrate on the shortest version of the game.
Okay.
If Cricket West Indies agree, then that would leave West Indies without a home one-day series this year.
Mm.
But I suppose if there is also a dollar incentive that Cricket West Indies probably will agree
Yes,
for the
yes,
change. Why not?
yes.
India defeated England by 336 runs in their second test at Edgbaston. India 587 and 427 for 6 declared. England 407 and 271. India rookie captain Shubman Gill scored 269 in the first innings and 169 in the second. His 269 is the highest score by an Indian batsman in England, surpassing the little master Sunil Gavaskar, who scored 221 or had the previous record of 221. And with the 169 in the second innings, he joined Gavaskar as the only Indian batsman to score a double century and a century in the same test match. Matter of fact, Gavaskar did it against my West Indies.
And John, I think Gill was also making his maiden um opening as captain,
Yeah, he's a rookie captain. Yeah,
as a rookie captain.
he's a rookie captain.
So
But
yeah, I
how
have to say that.
apropos, Trevor,
Huh.
he also took the catch that ended the match.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
The Indian rookie captain Trevor Shubman Gill has scored 593 runs in the first 2 test matches.
Uh-huh.
Question now, will his form hold? Be aware, his test average is in the low 40s,
Mm-hmm.
despite the 2 big innings in the second test.
Well, you might consider, John, that you put the responsibility on his shoulder as captain. He's more focused because there was no doubt about his ability to bat. Most of
No,
the
there,
time,
no,
most of
no,
the
there's no doubt about that.
yeah, most of the time, John, we question the lack of focus that we have many of our batters, John. The moment they get to the 100, John, they are so focused on getting to the century that
They give it
between
up.
they give it up, John. You
They
know,
give it up.
they give it up. So this
Yeah,
is the mind power has to come into this now, where they reset,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Because invariably we find that before between 100 and 120, we lose a lot of our batters.
Hmm. You mentioned that, Trevor. A former buddy of mine, or should I say former, I think he's living in Florida now, actually. I haven't spoken to him in quite a while.
Mm.
But he said when he was at UW and playing cricket for UW,
Uh-huh.
one afternoon he was batting with Sir Frank Worrell,
Uh-huh.
and he had just scored a century. And the very next ball he faced, he made a careless shot and almost got out.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, catch dropped.
Okay.
And Sir Frank came down the wicket. He was batting with Sir Frank. Sir Frank
Mhm.
came down the wicket to him and scolded him and
Yes.
said, "Why are you giving away your wicket? You already know how the wicket is played. Why do you want a new batsman to come in now?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's leadership.
Yeah. Another interesting aspect of that second test with England and India, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
The experts criticized the Indian selectors for selecting what they called a defensive team for the second test, that they lengthened the batting order and shortened the bowling. Well, Akashdeep filled in most admirably for Jasprit Bumrah with match figures of 10 for 187, and he was ably supported by Mohammed Siraj, who had match figures of 7 for 127. This is actually India's first test win at Edgbaston, and Captain Gill is now 1 win and 1 loss.
Oh, yes.
The third test at Lord's beginning tomorrow, so I'll be up early tomorrow morning.
Oh, yes.
West Indies women's cricket captain Hayley Matthews and Aphil Fletcher named among the nominees for ICC Women's Player of the Month of June. Matthews scored 104 runs in 3 one-day internationals against South Africa, including a half-century in the third match. She also bagged 4 wickets. She followed that up with 147 runs in 3 2020s at a strike rate of 120.49 and 2 half-centuries to boot, as well as picking up 2 wickets. Aphil Fletcher, on the other hand, was the leading wicket taker in both the one-day internationals and the 2020 series against South Africa, and she finished with 9 one-day wickets in June, 1 against England and 8 against South Africa, while in the 2020s she picked up 5 wickets.
Wow.
Their competition will come from South Africa's Tasman Brits, who had an outstanding tour of the Caribbean in both the one-days and the 2020s.
Okay.
Let's go to another break. And when we come back, we will have much more. We have more cricket and certainly a lot more to cover, Trevor. We'll be right back. Welcome back to John Sports Corner on the SosoBone Media Network, the global Caribbean media capital. As promised, we'll start with more cricket, lovely cricket. Cricket West Indies Under-19 tournament round 2 on Sunday, and the scores, I'm going to run through the scores, round 2 and 3. Bear with me. At the El Comida Willett Park, Windward Islands by 4 runs over Jamaica. Windward Islands 196 in 44 overs. Kurt Murray 52. Ershino Fontaine 26. Roshan McKenzie 2 for 13 from 5 overs. Tamari Redwood 2 for 33 from 7. DeMarco Scott 2 for 34 from 8 overs. Jamaica 192 in 49 overs. David Dewar 75. Kirsten Murray 2 for 31 from 10 overs. Edmund Moranci 2 for 34 from 9 overs. And Darwin Ford 2 for 26 from 6 overs. At Connery Sports Club, Barbados by 144 runs over Trinidad and Tobago. Barbados, Joshua Dorn scored 79. Zachary Carter, 78. Jandre Baptiste, 57. Anil Roop Lal, 3 for 56 from 10 overs. Abdul Rahim topping 2 for 68 from 10 overs. Trinidad and Tobago, 151 in 34 overs. Faris Ali, 30. Christian Rampasad, 27. RJ Gittins, 4 for 63 from 10 overs. Jakeem Pollard, 2 for 13 from 5 overs. Zachary Carter, 2 for 17 from 6 overs. At St. Mary's Park, the Leeward Islands by 3 wickets over the USA 2. USA has 2 teams in the competition, USA 1 and USA 2.
Yes.
USA 2, 141 in 31.1 overs. Ange Bojet, 28. Adit Kappa, 22. Matthew Miller, 4 for 23 from 6 overs. Israel L. Morton, 3 for 34 from 9.1 overs. Lee was 145 for 7 from 40.3 overs. Matthew Miller, 52, not out. Rahul Basu, 3 for 24 from 9 overs. Ritvi Apidi, 2 for 24 from 6. And Ryan Taj, 2 for 37 from 9. At St. Paul Sports Complex, The USA won by 7 wickets over Guyana. Guyana 150 in 44.2 overs. Romario Ramdehal 48. Afras Ali Boudou 43. Sahir Batia 3 for 14 from 9 overs. Subtranch Kumar 3 for 23 from 8 overs. Shiv Shani 2 for 16 from 5.2 overs. USA won 151 for 3 from 32.5 overs. The Shahar Shwetan 42 not out. Ukarsh Shrivantava 41. Romeo Dionarine 1 for 12 from 2 overs. Jonathan Van Lange 1 for 27 from 5. Moving to round 3, which took place today at the El Comida Park. A no result in the game between the Windward Islands and USA 2. At St. Paul Sports Complex, Barbados by 8 wickets over the Leewards. Leewards 154 in 34.5 overs. Kunal Tilokani 37, Matthew Miller 31, Rafael Lovell 3 for 19 from 6 overs. Damani Roach 3 for 33 from 6. Zachary Carter 2 for 31 from 7.5 overs. Barbados under 19s 156 for 2 in 25.3 overs. Micah Greenidge 85, Joshua Dorn 42 not out.
Okay.
2 games just completed actually, and I don't have the complete scores, but Jamaica by 5 wickets over Guyana, and the USA won by 93 runs over Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you kidding me, John? The USA beat Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow. Poor Trini.
I guess the selectors know what they're doing, Trevor, when they do come to look at the New York City's high
High
school
school.
cricket to see if you find some talent.
Ooh.
Anyway, Cricket West Indies under 19 Women Rising Stars tournament got going yesterday in Trinidad at the National Cricket Center. Not a ball bowled in the Windward Islands and Barbados match. Remember that essay that a certain player was asked to write on cricket, Trevor?
Oh yes. Okay.
And he just wrote 3 words: rain, no play.
Okay.
Anyway, at the Sir Frank Worrell Memorial Ground, Trinidad and Tobago and the Leewards game ended in a no result. The Leewards were actually batting when the rain came down, and they were 120 without loss after 20.3 overs. At Diego Martin Sports Complex, Jamaica in a 6-wicket Duckworth-Lewis win over Guyana.
Whoa.
The game reduced to 10 overs. Guyana 27 for 3 from their 10. Lauren Williams 10. Devanja Brown 2 for 15 from 4 overs. Jamaica 34 for 4 from 7.1 overs. Going across the ocean, and Dubai Capitals, the International League T20 defending champions, have retained the services of West Indies T20 captain Shai Hope, as well as Robman Powell, ahead of the 2025 season.
Okay.
Hope was the leading run scorer in last year's tournament with 527 runs in 12 innings, while Robman Powell scored 202 runs also from 12 innings. The Capitals also retained the services of Afghanistan's Gulbuddin Naib. Other West Indies cricketers being retained: all-rounder Romario Shepherd by the Mumbai Indian Emirates, Jonathan Charles with the Sharjah Warriors, Andre Fletcher and Sunil Narine with the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders. The 6 franchises will complete their squads through a player auction. Those details to be announced in short order.
Uh-huh.
The next international T20 league is scheduled for December 2025 through January 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And as a reminder, tickets are now available for the 44th Cricket Hall of Fame induction ceremony, scheduled for Saturday, October 4th at the Marriott Hotel, Windsor, Connecticut. And you can go on the Cricket Hall of Fame site, which is cricket crickethof.org.
Uh-huh.
And scroll down, you see a button says donate. You buy your ticket there, and a record will be kept of your purchase. You just have to turn up now for the Hall of Fame function.
Good, good.
I tell you what, Trevor, let's go to another break. And when we come back, we will talk football. We'll be right back. And we are back. Welcome once more to John Sports Corner here on the SosoBone Media Network, the global Caribbean media capital. As promised, we have come back with football. And start with the tragic news as we learned of the tragic death of Liverpool and Portugal footballer Diego Jota and his brother Andre last Thursday morning.
Yes.
It was reported that the car
Accident.
they were traveling in veered off the road and burst into flames in northern Spain.
Wow.
You
Yes.
talk about heartfelt condolences. Diego got married a few weeks ago. In fact, I think about 3 weeks ago now, to his longtime girlfriend, Ruta Cardoza, and who has 3 children with him. This one, Trevor, is really painful.
This one hurts, John. This one hurts. This one hurts.
CONCACAF Gold Cup update again. Mexico defended their Gold Cup title by defeating the USA 2-1 on Sunday's final. Chris Richards actually opened the scoring for the US in the 4th minute. However, Raul Jimenez equalized for Mexico in the 27th minute, and Edson Alvarez, the winner, in the 77th minute. Congratulations, Mexico.
John, there's a lot of celebration in Mexico because the US have been giving Mexico a hard time the last couple of years, you know.
Trevor, let's move along, Carlo Ancelotti, the Brazilian manager, has been sentenced to a year in prison by Spanish court for tax evasion.
Oh,
Wasn't that what Al Capone went to prison for, too, Trevor?
But John, I mean, there's more than one. I don't want to mention this other ball player's name that was with Barcelona, who they come after them, John, for tax purposes, and most of the time they're targeting the money that they did not earn in the country.
Actually, Trevor, in Ancelotti's case, well, he was accused of failing to pay 1 million euros in tax.
Okay.
But he said that he never thought about committing a fraud.
Uh-huh.
He was offered a net salary of, I think it's 6 million euros by Real Madrid, and that he left the structure of it to his financial advisors.
Yes.
And he just thought that was quite normal. Which I can see with him, Trevor.
Yes.
Because you're not worried about taxes. You play football, or you manage a football team, or you expect the people who are advising you or who you have employed to take care of your financial stuff to be doing the right thing, you know. But quite a number of players have gotten caught in this tax snafu, if you want to call it that.
And it's normally the high earners that they go after, John.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
the big names.
the big names, the big names.
Let's move along, Trevor. To oh, sorry. Okay, let's move along. Yes, 34-year-old Jamaica reggae girl Rebecca Spencer has completed a permanent move to Chelsea Women after
Mm.
impressing during a late season loan spell from Tottenham Hotspur last season. She has signed a one-year contract with the reigning Women's Super League champions with an option to extend for a further year. She
Okay.
returns to Chelsea for a second stint, having previously played for the club between 2016 and 2018.
Hmm.
FIFA Club World Cup semi-final yesterday, Chelsea 2-0 over Fluminense, and today Paris Saint-Germain 4-0 over Real Madrid.
Wow.
So on Sunday it will be a Chelsea Paris Saint-Germain final.
That's going to be interesting.
It certainly will be.
England against France at this time sounds like a plan.
In Jamaica Women's Premier League, results from the weekend, Fraser's Whip 3-1 over Wi-Fi United. Mile Gully 2-1 over Proven Girls. Real Mobe 3-1 over Federal United. Arnett Gardens 2-1 over Los Perfectos. And the Cavalier 7-0 over Springers United.
Oh.
Congratulations, certainly in order for Karen Rosenbaugh, elected the 12th Netball Jamaica president on the weekend, replacing incumbent Tricia Robinson, who did not seek re-election. The
Okay.
other
So,
executives are First Vice President Simone Forbes, Second Vice President Dwayne Gutzmer, and Treasurer Elaine Walters. While the other board members are Tashike Salmon, Derek Brown, Karen Winstanley, Harleen Wall, Suzette Townsend, and Denise Palmer. Perhaps the president's first priority will be the World Youth Cup in Gibraltar, scheduled for September 19th through the 28th.
well, I just have one thing to say, John. I hope she got some people with integrity.
Well, she says she's happy with her slate. So I guess. And Suncor Super League across the pond, let's run through some scores. As number 11 on the trot for Janelle Fowler Nemhard and her West Coast Fever as they defeated the Giants 73-56. The 11th consecutive win is a record in
Oh,
the league,
okay.
achieved before a record 11,899 home fans.
Wow.
The reigning league MVP shook off some physical attention early in the game, Trevor, to complete 63 of 66 attempts
Mm.
on the basket.
Ooh.
Her fellow Sunshine Girl defender, Katie Andy Haney, played in her 100th game and was what would you call her though? A devil in defense for
Okay.
the West Coast Fever. Another Sunshine Girl, this one, Romelda Aiken George, and her Adelaide Thunderbirds defeated the Melbourne Mavericks 60-49. Romelda completed 49 of 55 attempts on goal. Fellow Sunshine Girl, Shimona Jock, representing the Mavericks, completed 37 of 40 of her attempts. And despite missing the first 2 games with the West Coast Fever, Janelle Fowler Nemhard has vaulted to the top of the scoring chart with 663 goals. She is followed by Grace Enweke, 659. Fellow Sunshine Girl Romelda Aiken George, 595. And fellow Sunshine Girl Shimona Jack, 538 goals. Let's squeeze some basketball in as the Knicks have tapped Mike Brown to replace Tom Thibodeau as their new head coach. And I think Brown has some big shoes to fill. Anything short of an NBA final may not satisfy Knicks fans or maybe even the Knicks management. Thibodeau had back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time since 1993-94 and 94-95 seasons, and led the Knicks to the conference finals for the first time since 2000. Perhaps the good thing is, Brown comes to the Knicks with a solid resume. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Basketball Association hosted a trial minus the NBA stars at the National Stadium courts, from which 18 players will be selected for a training camp ahead of the 2027 World Cup pre-qualifiers in Mexico in August. It was expected that some of the NBA stars, such as Nick Richards and Norman Powell, would be present at the trial. However, Jamaica Basketball Association President Paulton Gordon explained that the NBA players are already a known quantity to Coach Rick Turner, and he wanted to look at players he wasn't too familiar with. Yes, anyone?
Oh, yes.
Jamaica won their first ever CARICOM Classic Team Chess Tournament after Barbados shot champions Trinidad and Tobago in the penultimate round on Sunday.
Oh.
Jamaica edged the Trinis by a mere half point, with Suriname third.
What was what was the makeup of the team, John?
The makeup of the team?
Male, female, what was the makeup of the team?
Yeah, male, female, and should I call them teenagers?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And moving along to squash, Trevor, news out of Cayman Islands and the Junior Caribbean Area Squash Association Championships, Jamaica captain Sanjana Nalapati teamed up with vice captain Mehar Trehan to hand Jamaica its only gold medal, defeating their defending their under-19 doubles title against Barbados. Trinidad and Tobago's Seth Thong and Anthony Allam won the boys under-19 doubles crown. Guyana's Louis Da Silva and Avery Arjon won the mixed doubles title, defeating the Barbados pair of Luke Wilson and Ebony Atherley. St. Vincent and the Grenadines delivered in the under-17 category as captain Jaden George defeated Charlie, making of the Cayman Islands. George went unbeaten throughout the tournament by not dropping a game.
Wow.
Savante Padmore also delivered gold for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, defeating Zion Hickerson of Guyana in the under-11 final. The tournament brought together 127 athletes from 8 Caribbean nations, and those nations: Barbados, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Jamaica girls actually finished 4th in the tournament with 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. The boys finished 8th. Let's go to another break. And when we come back, we will have some tennis, we have some horse racing, and then we go to wrap up today's John's Sports Corner. We'll be back. Welcome back to John's Sports Corner on the SosoBone Media Network, the global Caribbean media capital. As promised, tennis. Wimbledon 2025 in full swing. Bad news, Coco popped out early.
Oh.
Losing to Diane Yastremska, 7-6, 6-1 in the first round. You know, Coco has not won a singles match since the French Open, you know. I guess she has lost maybe some focus, or she's continuing to celebrate. Anyway.
Or maybe she's just a little bit tired, John.
That too. Also noteworthy, Novak Djokovic became only the third player in Wimbledon history to reach 100 victories with a 6-3, 6-love, 6-4 win over Miomir Kecmanovic. Martina Navratilova and Roger Federer are the other two players to achieve this milestone. Earlier today, in the men's singles quarterfinal, Djokovic won singles 101 by defeating Flavio Cobolli 6-7, 6-2, 7-5, 6-4. In the other quarterfinal games, Jannik Sinner 7-6, 6-4, 6-4 over Ben Shelton. Carlos Alcaraz 6-2, 6-3, 6-3 over Cameron Norrie. Taylor Fritz 6-3, 6-4, 1-6, 7-6 over Karen Khachanov. In women's quarterfinal, Belinda Bencic 7-6, 7-6 over Mira Andreeva. Iga Swiatek 6-2, 7-5 over Ludmila Samsonova. Ariana Sabalenka 4-6, 6-2, 6-4 win over Laura Shigmund. Amanda Anisimova 6-1, 7-6 over Anastasia Palosheknova. You know, there was that big discussion once about the majors, the big tennis tournaments, that women should be paid equal to the men, Trevor.
Oh, yes, John.
But I only have one question. Whereas the men have to play 5 sets, the women only play 3.
Well,
should they play 5 too?
I think that the payment is prorated based on, I would think, based on the amount of games that they played. Not that is most of the sports that we watch, from baseball to basketball, when it comes to the playoffs, John, your team goes in the playoffs and you're paid based on the game that you played in up to the level that you reach, so that the team that goes deep ends up getting more than the team that flames out when the playoff starts. I would hope, therefore, that while you might say you're paying everybody $40 an hour, but if you only work 5 hours and another person works 10 hours, you don't take home the same pay as the person who worked 10 hours. So I guess the amount of games that you play, John, you're going to pay on equal basis for the games that you play. But if you don't play...
I need to double check, Trevor.
Okay.
Like in the Wimbledon final, for both men and women, what is the prize money?
Well, the prize money should be equal in percentage. For example, what I'm saying is, if you're being paid a percentage of the gates, and you
I don't think they get a percentage of gate. It's a set flat prize money set up, Trevor. It's not no percentage.
Well, I guess it might be a percentage of the budget. Because if you know
But
that
you
you
see, what I'm saying, do they get the same, are they give them the same amount for prize money, the winner? And if that is so, women play 3 sets, men play 5.
I understand that, but I would figure that you know they estimate what their take is gonna be on the game, and if the men are gonna bring in 40 million and the women are gonna bring in 20 million, because the attendance history might have something to do with it, then you have to say that if you're setting aside 10% of the budget as prize money for the men, you're gonna set aside 10% of the prize money for the women, as you know, in that sense. That is, you don't give the women 5% and give the men 10%. Okay, so I think under those conditions, that might be how it operates. You know, because we have a, when it comes to hourly wages, the state have a minimum wage, but but and you're all paid the minimum wage, but your paycheck is dependent on how many hours you work.
Trevor,
Yes,
I just went to Dr. Google.
yes.
It says the singles champions, both men's and women's, will each receive £3 million.
Okay, enough said.
And my question still is, the men play 5 sets. Why are they being paid equally? Or should the women start playing 5 sets too?
Well, that is quite a question,
I
John.
like to ask the professor these questions. I don't I don't want to start anything, but I just ask questions.
Well, I think it's a good question, and I think that they arrive at that payment structure because for so long women had been underpaid percentage wise in comparison to the men. So when they finally decide to make the playing field equal, you can say that there's no question anymore. What the men get, the women get. End of case. Whether you are a fireman or you're a police or
Don't mind the women getting what the men get, Trevor. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, should they also play 5 sets
well, John,
instead of 3?
I know that women in the military they said they never wanted them on the front line, but nobody said they got less pay because they were not going on the front line. Okay.
Okay, I tell you what, Trevor, let's move along and circle the Caribbean now as scores from the St. Lucia Semi-Pro League. At Mindu Phillip Park, Canaries rescued a point in a thrilling 2-2 draw with Gross Ile, while La Clary 3 goals to zip over Soul. Success for Trinidad and Tobago in last weekend's inaugural Barbados Grand Prix meet. Tyra Gittens won the long jump with a leap of 6.54 meters, her winning jump coming on her 4th attempt. And a win also from Michelle Ayi, winning the women's 100 meters in 11.41 seconds. Meanwhile, Hayman Islander Davante Howell won the men's 100 meters in 10.15 seconds. Conde Riley stepping down as Barbados Cricket Association president. And 3 persons have so far indicated their intention to run for the presidency. Calvin Hope, the current vice president, Jeff Brooms, a retired educator and former Barbados Cricket Association board member, and Phila Wallace, former Barbados cricketer and West Indies cricketer.
Okay.
We understand there could be a fourth candidate in Hendy Wallace if he goes through with his intention to put his hat in the ring.
Uh-huh.
He is currently actually a Barbados Cricket Association Board of Director member and former chairman of selectors.
Mm-hmm.
If I said Charles Henry Allen, many cricket fans today might not pay any attention.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say Jim Allen, then I'm sure most likely the answer could be, oh yes, I remember him. Charles Henry Jim Allen is regarded as Montserrat's greatest cricketer. He never played Test cricket for the West Indies, but played 2 seasons with West Indies in the defunct Cherry Packer series.
Uh-huh.
Other than World Series cricket, he represented the Combined Islands and the Leewards in regional cricket and has a top score of 161 against Jamaica.
Oh.
The SosoBone, SosoFat family, John Sports Corner extends heartfelt condolences to the Allen family and to the wider Caribbean cricketing family because we have lost Jim Allen. Jim Allen died on Sunday.
Yes.
He was 73. We also learned of the passing of horse racing trainer Dwayne Lucas. He was one of the most accomplished trainers in U.S. racing history. He has 15 Triple Crown winners, which is second only to Bob Baffert, who has 17. He had 4 Kentucky Derby winners, 7 Preakness, and 4 Belmont winners. In 1995, he won all 3 Triple Crown races.
Wow.
But with 2 horses.
Okay.
the Derby and the Belmont with Thunder Gulch, and the Preakness with Timber Country. Meanwhile, in 1999, Dwayne won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown with Charismatic, the Derby and the Preakness, but faced misfortune in the Belmont. Although finishing 3rd, Charismatic fractured both the sesamoid and cannon bones in his left front leg. Dwayne Lucas was 89.
89.
And today we take a look at cricket history and Sourav Ganguly, who captained India in 49 test matches and 146 one-day internationals. He won 21 tests as captain, drew 15 and lost 13.
Okay.
Ganguly played in a total of 113 test matches, in which he scored 7,212 runs, including 16 centuries, with a top score of 239 against Pakistan in Bangalore.
Okay.
In his first 2 test innings, Ganguly scored 131 against England at Lord's and 136 also against England in Nottingham. He also played in 311 one-day internationals, in which he scored 11,212 runs, with 22 one-day international centuries and a top score of 183 against Sri Lanka in Taunton. He went on to become one of India's most successful captains.
Okay.
And before I close, been asked to remind our viewers, our subscribers, those who check out John Sports Corner that UJA, the Union of Jamaica Alumni Associations, is having their 35th anniversary luncheon and awards gala at the Green Tree Country Club in New Rochelle, New York on
Okay.
Sunday, September 14th, starting at 11:30 a.m. For ticket information, you can go to ujausa.org, and that is ujaausa.org. Also, mark August 23rd on your calendar. You know, Trevor, August 23rd is one of my son's birthdays, you know, and also my partner in radio crime, Conroy Allison,
Oh,
also the
okay.
23rd.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
the Suburbia Sports Club is hosting their 7th Runabout Fest fundraising party at 141 25 224th Street in Lorton, Queens from
Mhm.
8 to 3 a.m. the next morning. 8 p.m. that is to 3 a.m.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I put the covers on John Sports Corner this Wednesday afternoon on the SosoBone Media Network. Thanks for joining us, and tell a friend that we span the sports globe. Remember to go to Winner Circle Radio Store in the SosoBone shop and pick available merchandise that's there of your choice. Of course, you know, there is sorrel there, and the summer coming, a nice cool sorrel drink will can really quench the thirst for the day.
Yes.
But folks, again, there's also the Great Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. But again, be safe and enjoy the rest of the week, family.